So God does not handle sin like we handle it. Y'all understand that? You all act like sin is just gonna drive y'all crazy. So what God does, He allows affliction to come to drive the sin out of you. Because He calls you in the midst of sin. Some of the greatest anointed people are the ones that got saved but still sinning. I ain't gonna say amen. That's why He says it was good for me that I was afflicted. He was anointed, but he had an inner conflict within himself. What do you do when you save anointed, but you still want to smoke weed? What do you do when you save anointed and you just gay? Church people would say you ain't anointed. They would say you never saved. But that's why God allows the affliction to come to drive out the stuff that's in me that should not be. He not allowed.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? We're getting ready to have a good conversation. All right, we had we're gonna have a little dialogue tonight. That many have asked me to do a live and have a dialogue and a conversation, and I got some people that's going to come on tonight. We're going to talk about some things that I hope would bless many people. So yeah, let's get on. If you can, get on, get on. Share this. Have a strong conversation. We got a lot of we had a lot of feedback today from individuals that was talking about my post, and I'm going to share my post in just 1 second. And we can talk about it. So, I'm Bishop Amere, Charlotte, North Carolina. Bishop in the UAE, Dubai. And what we were talking about, we were talking about, wait. So what we were talking about, Wait, let me see something. All right, there we go. We were talking about having a conversation about musicians and pastors. And I know a lot of people may be in Bible class right now and all that good stuff. But we want to deal with this conversation. Hopefully, we can have a good dialogue about musicians and pastors. Now, if you can't comment because you're not my friend on the personal page, please get on my Bishop Amere Made Likes page, or we on YouTube, and we are on Abundant Faith Worship Center page. So we hope you get on one of those pages and clock on in. So let me go ahead and read, because I know a lot of people is transition. A lot of people want to get on. They said they are driving and they're taking transition. A lot of people want to get on. They said taking the train and different things, but we're going to go ahead and get on. A lot of them be on about 9:40 or later. So the statement was, how long will the battle continue between musicians and pastors? I made a post earlier, and I'm going to read to you the post that I think sparked a lot of conversation. And here's the post. The post said, musicians and preachers with no job or steady income who think they can come up off the church honestly irritated me. Especially the musicians. You want to be compensated at a certain level, claiming you have to feed your family and that you're grown. But tell me, what job out there pays you $100 or more an hour with minimal education, no resume, and no certifications? Let's be real. Some of you have GEDs, dropped out school, or only finished high school. Yet you complain about that you're not getting paid what you're worth. All right. Yet you complain you're not getting paid what you're worth. You haven't studied your craft. Can you even read music? And I said, stop it. You can't come up off the average church. Some of you do nothing at all week. Hang out in studios, smoke weed, and then expect the church to fund your lifestyle. Some preachers are just as bad. No job, no plan, just waiting on the pulpit to make your paycheck. It's time to develop multiple streams of income and kill the entitlement mindset that someone owes you something. All right, no wonder you're frustrated. You can't take care of a household making $100 to $700 a week. Go get a job or three. Then you sit around complaining about how the pastor or church is hustling you. It's just a bunch of broke folks whining together. And I said, much respect to the musicians and the preachers who understand they need income outside of ministry, but don't get mad when a church lets you go or you can't afford what you think your life is worth. So then it said, bottom line, you're not getting rich off the church. That's real talk. Who have you played for? Where's your resume? What about your tenure with another established church? We're not talking until we set the work you put in. You can't negotiate like a vet when you're still a rookie. All right. So I got one of my persons here, man of God. Thank God bless you, man.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Good.
Good. I'm just jumping in, so you gotta update me for sure. I'm on my way home.
Okay. Well, I see you didn't got the hair like mine, man.
Man, it's getting more gray, man, but it's getting we losing more and more by the day, right? Yes, sir. But it's all good, man. Good to see you, Bishop.
Yes, I got you, John B on here. I tell you, man. When I hit the lottery, I'm gonna come and get y'all and be the best. Now, I don't like John B because I had a good church I was gonna get in Charlotte.
Stop the lies.
He feels so bad. Them people didn't want no parts of me after that. They didn't want no parts of me after that. I mean, good church. So where do we start? Let's just go here. Where do we? Both of you all are veterans. Both of you are been played for me. Both of you all are honored the gift on y'all life. Y'all are remarkable. You're not hirelings. You top tier, but you don't beg and you don't demand. How do you what do you tell these younger musicians who look at you all and think they can do you? It's like the game of basketball, as though you have rookies thinking they're veterans. I mean, what would you have advice to these people now? Jason, now you did it on both sides. You passed it and you was a minstrel.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the discrepancy between the minstrel and the pastor? Why is there so much animosity? Why is there so much tension?
Well, man, you, boy, this is not a tree we want to climb, but we're gonna climb it. So
that's what all y'all said. What's going? There must be something going on I don't know about. All of y'all that said it. John's like, whoa.
Yeah,
starting a fight. You starting a fight, man.
Yeah. It's basically a 5-alarm fire at this point. Because man, listen, I love pouring into the younger. I do. I love doing it. But I think to a great degree, man, a lot of us, man, I don't say a lot of us, but a lot of the younger generation. I'm not saying all, because I have a protege under me right now, man. He's doing well. Dude is humble. But that's the key, man. A lot of them, they don't. The humility part is missing. Like really, it's legit missing, right? Because at the end of the day, as long as I've been doing this, man, I've been in music for like over 40 years. But I never get beside myself, man, because I know it's cats that would destroy me skill wise, like literally. Skill would destroy me skill wise, but the humility part, man, I try to keep that. Like I understand my grace of my life, you know, but I try to keep that, man. I do, and I think that's why God keeps opening doors, even at this age I'm at right now. I'm still walking through doors, man. I'm still doing stage plays. I'm still doing musicals. I'm still doing church here and there, man. But now I know you asked me about the discrepancy between the pastor, but I'm saying a lot of times it's that tension between, oh, I'm all that, and the pastor's like, well, I hired you, but you think you all that, but you're really not all that. You know what I'm saying? And then to the point when you don't have the skill set to match the dollar,
right?
That's on the business side. Like, I mean, I don't know how to range it, but if you coming in and you basically, I don't know how this, man. I'm trying to say this. And I can't say with diplomacy because at this point it's a blaze at this point. But you have to have like you have to have like David had. You got to have the skill, and you got to be prudent. You got to be proven. Like when David was called, he was called because somebody had already been watching him.
Right.
Somebody had already watching him. You come off the street, bro. Nobody know you, and then you come in, you know. Young cats, and I listen. It's a lot of great talent out there, man. Great gifts out there, but man, it's the mindset. I to the great degree, man. I'll concede to John and the other guy, and then maybe I can feed off of that. But man, listen, in my experience, a lot of the cats, man, they just it's all about making. It's about the bag, and I'm gonna move to the next bag, right? They don't really have no heart in it. It's just move to the next bag, and that's just no. And they are hirelings. Like in their minds, they really are hirelings. They don't really have a heart for it. Like I came in, I know I'm kind of rare, but I have a heart for what I do, man. I don't even serve churches who got, if Christ is not even there, I don't even go, bro. Like I don't even go. You can't pay me to sit in a situation just to make a bag and leave. That's me though. But I know I'm different. But that's me. But I'm gonna stop talking and let the rest of these fine gentlemen talk. So that's where I'm at with it right now. But as far as, go ahead.
Overseer Jermaine, glad he's here. John B is here. Why is there so much tension between the pastors and the musicians? Is it a respect factor? Is it one feel like they've been taken advantage of? Or why is this whole conversation still being had? I mean, how can we change this? Even with pastors, how can we? Now, let me ask you all questions because you're skilled musicians. Let's just be cutthroat. Can you make a good living off the average church, playing for a church, not having a job, just playing for Sunday morning? I don't think you can unless you're that. And so could we expect the church to support our lifestyle when most of the church can't even pay their own bills? Good. So I don't think it's just a matter of, see, when I made my post earlier, it wasn't about, because everybody should make room for them and everybody should get what they deserve. I mean, John can say some things that he is not going to take anymore. He don't have to take it because he's been proven, like you said. So, but we can't look at a career as a musician and say, I want to come up, I want to be a millionaire. How many millionaire musicians are there in the black church?
Mm.
And so you choose that career, and then things are not going the way they anticipate on going, and then you upset. The church is hustling you, they this and that. But you're a drummer, you're making $200 a week. How you expect to come off and take care of your family, yourself, off of $200 a week? So maybe y'all can chime in on that. What should they give them some advice? What should they do when they have a gift, don't have a resume? What should they do?
Who you want to talk?
John can talk, then overseer. Go ahead.
Now you sure you want me to talk first? Because you already know I don't be holding them back, Doc. I
Overseer,
stay
you go first.
controversial.
You go first.
Yeah, let him go first and smooth it out before I burn it down.
Oh, I was gonna say, John, go ahead and set the tone. It's okay. I can come behind you. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
First of all, you got a couple of things. The problem is this is an eternal battle here.
Yeah.
It didn't start in the church. It goes back to Lucifer and God. It's
Yeah.
it's an eternal struggle here. Uh, one of the scriptures of the Bible calls Lucifer the chief cherub that covers. What did he cover? Cover the mercy seat of God. He was there to shield the glory. So really, Lucifer was a guardian of glory. The problem is now you got musicians. They want the glory for themselves, man.
Wow.
In Ezekiel, it talks about Lucifer, and it lists all of the precious stones that was adorned in him, all of the precious stones. So what's supposed to happen is when Lucifer would stand up, the stones would reflect the image of God.
Wow.
The problem is now we got people standing up and we seeing them and not God.
Wow.
We don't see no reflection of God. We see the reflection of your gift. And the problem with being gifted, as I've said many times, I even wrote in my book, the problem with being gifted is your gift will work without the anointing, which makes you now dangerous in church.
Listen, and I've done that before. Keep going. I've done that. Have the gift and not have known it. Trust me.
Right.
Been there.
Right. So you operating week after week out of your gift with no anointing. And now you're reaching for a dollar amount that you haven't ascended to in your skill. Now you ask the question about, can they survive on an average church? The reason they can't because the church is average.
Right.
If it's an average church, it's an average budget.
Right.
If it's an average, if it's an average budget, most likely the pastor ain't even walking away eating right. They putting in everything they can just to keep it afloat. So for the musician to think I'm gonna make this and the other, and then the biggest crutch and the biggest problem is the pros and cons, but the biggest problem to musicians today is social media.
Yeah.
Because you look at people who are on certain platforms and you think all you gotta do was post enough clips to get enough likes and then you own. Well, who's vetting these people?
Right.
Okay, you got on, you put up a praise break shout, and so you got 1 million views now. So you done went viral off of a 5-minute clip. And so now you one of the top musicians. How? Who vetted you? From what? From 5 minutes, nigga. Please, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say nigga on your. Let me not say it on here. Don't, man, please. 5-minute clip and you go viral, and so now you charging. Yeah, like, I need $1,000 for what? You can't read music. We can't even track your last 5 ministries that you played at for longer than 5 years for stability. Here's another thing: most musicians have never given in church the amount of money they charge from church.
Oh.
Whew.
Oh, okay. So I told you I shouldn't have let me talk. Y'all should have let me talk first. So now y'all messing around and saying, well, I need $500 from church to play, but you never sown a $500 seed in the offering.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
And we'll never.
We'll never.
You know
Where
what,
May
John?
go?
That's
May
true,
go.
because
Bishop
when
gone? Where he at? He come back?
Yeah, because that's true. Because when we travel, you sow.
I don't know if he's still on there. Y'all still see Bishop May?
Yeah, I'm here. You can't see me?
I don't know if he's still on here or not. Are we still live?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still, yeah,
Yeah.
still-
Okay.
yeah, he's still here.
Okay.
still here.
I don't know. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think that we're losing mentors. Where's the mentors? And here's the thing. A lot of times now you see guys that say, I got a mentor, but your mentor is on a screen. And I'm not knocking it because I got mentees all over the country that I mentor virtually. But I also hold them to a certain level of accountability. These guys now, you don't have nobody that can put their hands on you to say, hey man, you wilding out. Or that's gonna check you. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody that's gonna check you. You need somebody that's gonna put their hands on you, not beat you up, but just put their hands on you and say, hey, calm down. Because a lot of times, just because
Did we
you
lose
have the
him?
skill. No, I'm still here. May still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times the guys now they have the skills, but they don't have the experience. Now those are two different things.
Yeah.
You can have the skills. Watch this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop the mic. You can have the skills to be on the stage, but not have the experience to change the room.
Mm,
I done
mm.
seen it. I done seen guy. Now I've been blessed. I've played in all of the national convocations for Church of God in Christ. I've played the Women's Convention, Holy Convocation, AIM, Bishop Conference, and that's at least 10, 20, 30,000 people. So you may have the skills to be on the stage, but you don't have the experience to know how to shift that room.
No.
Because listen, playing for 100 people is different than playing in an arena for 10,000.
Yeah.
You gotta have some weight behind you on that. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm done for right now. I yield the
Overseer.
floor.
Maybe I should have went first.
Yeah, I told you to go first, man. You gonna learn to listen to me. Y'all be listening. Go first.
Man, first, Bishop, thank you for allowing us to have this space. I think it's I went back in some of the archives and I found a video that a pastor friend and I did together about 4 years ago.
Wow.
Same conversation.
Mm.
And I am, unlike some other pastors, I'm employed. I'm a school administrator, and I've been that for some years. My wife as well. We're both in education, so we work and we pride ourselves in working.
Right.
As I begin to think about, and I mean, John, I think your name is John, right? John.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir, John. You said so much. I don't even know where to start. But I was kind of taking some notes and thinking.
I hit a dead zone, guys. Hope I clear up soon.
Okay. We've been in leadership for almost 8 years. We've been pastors almost 8 years, and at one point, our music budget was more than our rent for our building, and it's because we were willing to do what we had to do for the sound. In some ways, compromising what we know should not even be in place. John, you talked about, and I just kind of packaged it all into character and integrity or a lack thereof. Yeah. When we would have musicians coming in late, no call, no show, leaving early. And I come from the day where, as a young kid growing up in ministry, like if I wanted to go to the pastor's church around the corner, I had to ask my pastor for permission.
Yeah.
Right. And then, if someone invited me, that pastor reached out to my pastor and said, hey, what do you have to say about Jermaine?
Right.
And so as a pastor, I think that we have gotten away from picking up the phone and making the call and saying, hey, can you recommend so and so and so? Should I let so and so come and play? I don't care how good they are.
Right.
And I can honestly say we didn't do that. And so as a result, we allowed people to come in, can play, have the skill set, have the experience, but character integrity was absent. Smoke, drink, and of course we all have issues, but smoking, drinking, trying to get with the women in the church, and they married themselves. The list goes The list goes on.
Mhm.
So I think that as a pastor, we have to let our yes be yes and our no be no. And that might mean a sacrifice. So there have been times, Bishop, where we say, you know what, because we don't want to deal with the back and forth and the lack of integrity, we'll just put on YouTube. We'll just put on the track and we'll just track it out.
Yeah.
We save money and we save headache at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? So John or Jason, do we pay the musician based upon his skill set or based upon the budget of the church? Because you just heard overseer just say sometimes his budget was for the musicians was higher than his rent. What is the average pay for a musician? Is it different in regions or like
Yes.
versus?
Yeah, it's different different in regions. One of the things I would tell musicians is, first of all, don't and I've had guys come to me and they say, "Hey, Uncle John, man, I'm agreed to go get this church, man. I think I want to charge them like 700 a Sunday." First thing I'm gonna ask them is where you live, where you live, and then I'm gonna ask the second question is who's the highest paid musician in that city.
Yes.
Ooh.
Because if nobody in that city is making $700 a week, for you to go there with that expectation is retarded. Nobody in the whole city makes that, which means the bar of the city standard is capped at maybe 450. Because just like musicians got friends in the network, preachers do too.
Yeah.
And preachers talk. And them pastors ain't gonna let you be the all-star and you just come out and you're gonna raise the bar of the city. No sir.
No.
Them pastors, Bishop, you know I'm talking about, Doc. Doc, how much you paying your guy? Man, I'm paying my guy 400. Man, 4. Man, I only pay my guy 350. Okay, but did you talk to Joseph? Man,
Bishop laughing, he know about it.
man, come on, man. We been in this too long. Pastors got a network, and musicians got a network. They talk, man, and musicians got to understand this. No, so find out what's the bar of the city, and then understand how you can maneuver through that. If you in, somewhere down south, ain't the same pay scale as if you're in the DMV or if you're up in New York. But the cost of living is higher too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had a prime example. I was living in Virginia. Ministry was paying me, well there. But I had somebody ask me to relocate to California. I said, I need 150,000 a year minimum.
Yeah.
Because it's LA.
Yeah.
It's LA.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month in LA, you in the projects.
Yeah.
The cost of living is different. So it's different. So I think the ministry needs to gauge what they
Hey,
are
can you hear me?
comfortable. Yeah, I can hear you. I think the ministry needs to
No,
gauge what they're comfortable
I
doing.
totally agree. I mean, even the budget really to me it should be. I always see what the budget is, right? I have a set. If they ask me, what do you desire, and I'll say, just kind of give my guesstimation on based on what they tell me as far as the dynamics, as far as what I bring or whatever. I'll give them a number, but I always have a space in my mind. I don't know if I lost you guys on that. I think I lost
No,
everybody just now.
I can hear you. You good?
Because everybody's turning.
You good? We can hear you. We hear
Oh
you.
boy, the connection's bad.
He may not think he can hear us.
We can hear you.
We hear you, man. He can't. He don't know he can.
He needs some inner ears.
Yeah, he needs some. He needs some inner ears. Right? It is.
Yeah, but it's an old conversation, as overseer said, and this is the lack of. I guess it may be because the way we were raised 20, 30 years, we see it different. We had to earn where we at, and musicians
earn it, man. Earn it.
on the side, they weren't even getting paid that much. They was getting paid.
If you was on the side, you wasn't getting nothing. You just want to get on the plate on offer.
Yeah. If I may say this, I remember being 14, 15. I was raised in a Baptist church. And I remember when the main drummer couldn't make it because of work. And I would just tap, 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 to keep a beat. And they gave me $25, $50. And I was like, living on Gold Street, $25-$50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You now you say $25-$50 a day. It's see where that gets you.
Oh my God.
And I didn't have no skill set. I just could keep a beat, a rhythm, right?
But see, you was with them Baptists. See,
Yeah.
they gave you something. Church got crazy. They gave you the fish sandwich and go home.
And a great crush or orange crush.
Orange crush. That's all you was getting. He told you about. That's all you get. Church got crazy.
That's all you getting. That's all you get, man. So,
Nah.
it was people just. So, what is the average across the country? The average pay for a drummer, bass, and a organist?
It fluctuates. At a local church, if you got a drummer and you paying them 250 to 3, then it reflects that your ministry is in a different caliber place. If you're paying your drummer 500, which is what most musicians, main MDs get paid, then that shows that your ministry is at a different level. If you playing at a church and the drummer getting 1,000 or more, you probably at a whole nother level of mega ministry there.
Yeah.
And I know drummers who make each tier. I personally know drummers who make each tier. And so it's a reflection of your ministry, but your ministry should not be going into a financial deficit trying to keep a Levite.
Yeah. I have a question, gentlemen. I don't know who wants to take this, but I wrote this down because, I thought about this. And the church that I grew up in, the main musician, she died as a member of said church. And I wrote down spiritual bastards. No pastor. They simply just want to play and get paid. I want to know, will we ever get back to musicians wanting to be pastored? I think that is probably one of the biggest issues as to why we are where we are and why we're having the conversation that we're having.
Whoa.
Okay, so let me
That's
take
loaded,
it.
right?
Yeah. You want me to take it? Let me.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Here's the thing. let me bring the center down. It's the reason it's difficult to get musicians back to the place of wanting to be pastored is because, let's see how much I'm gonna come around this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody joins churches anymore. We're recruited and hired.
Ooh.
We're recruited and hired. I didn't walk down the aisle to give my right hand to fellowship because I thought you was a great leader. No, you recruited me and hired me because you heard I was available to play. So now I'm not looking at you as my leader. I'm looking at you as my employer. Most musicians who grew up in church have a home church. Watch this. Here's the caveat. Most musicians, I almost felt God right there. Uh, most musicians that grow up in church have a home church, and in their home church, they have a home church that they will play for free. You know why? Because they grew up in
That's
that
it.
church. They grew up in that church. The problem comes in is when I grow up in a church that never hires me.
Right.
Oh.
I grow up playing for a church that never hires me. That's my home church. My mama go to that church. My grandmama go to that church. I love that pastor. That's my pastor for real. But I grow up playing for a church that never hires me. Then when New Rising Mount Zion down the street hire me and want to pay me, now y'all mad at me because they willing to pay me for what you took for free. So now this is not my pastor. This is my employer. My home church is down here. I didn't join this church. I was hired at that church because my home church never looked at me and wanted to hire me because they just, oh, that's just little John, or that's just no. I grew up in here, and no real musician ever wants to leave his home church because that's home. They leave out of a necessity, money that the home church for whatever reason won't pay them. My first time being paid, my former pastor, I only had three pastors my whole life, by the way.
Right. Right.
My former pastor, Bishop H. Jenkins Bell, the late Bishop H. Jenkins Bell, paid me $25 a month. Tabernacle Faith, Church of God in Christ, Shelby Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee. I was 14 years old. I was the state organist. I was bishop's organist. By the time I turned 15, Greater Grace Temple in Nashville, Tennessee, Pastor Breonna Mitchell hired me, and they was paying me 300 a week. I was 15.
What?
So yeah, Doc, I was on the road with MC Hammer when I was 17. Y'all want my story. That's a whole nother situation.
Mm.
But no, man, they took it for free. So
Uh,
I went over there and started playing with everybody else. But guess what? Every chance I got to go back home to play for Bishop Bell, I was
you
there.
were there.
And
You were there.
and it didn't matter about the money because it was my home church.
Right.
I got a joy and a fulfillment from being home that I could never get from a church where I was just hired as an employee. So yeah,
Wow.
the conversation of when a musician is going to be pastored again, I think we should look at when are the pastors going to actually invest into what's in the house being groomed in the house. Because we're grooming stuff in the house for it to get shipped out of the house. Uh-oh. I'm done talking.
Now we
Y'all
let.
y'all take it. I'm done.
Yeah, he didn't lie. He really did not lie. There's nothing that John said that was a lie. It really is. And I've had three pastors in my entire life as well. Pastor John W. Coleman, Apostle Austin Mitchell, and now Apostle Eric Howard. The only three pastors I've had. And every single one of them took care of me at home. I've been blessed. And I haven't had that story of $25 a Sunday. That's definitely different. Now I will say, I will say initially at my first home church when I was 16, 17 years old, and I was, getting towards they call it grown years or whatever, 18 or whatever. And I was getting a little something, but it wasn't 25. It was three digits, but it definitely wasn't 25. but a Baptist church hired me, at 17. And so to make, $300, now I'll share the story. To make $300 a Sunday was like mind blowing at that time, to make $300 a Sunday. But I will say but I soon learned that home was a good place for me, my story, because there was literally no integrity in leadership whatsoever. I saw things in the back office that was like, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for. So I soon realized, in comparison to the money I was making, that home was a great place to be. And of course, there were other young people that were growing up, and so I was able to move on after I got married and things like that. And so I've only had three pastors, but that was the point. I was going to ask that question, but John, you already hit it. It's like, yeah, I mean, what do we do with people who actually have been raised up, and then they just get drugged along because that's just little Johnny, as you would put it, or that's just little Jay. He's a homegrown, so he don't mind giving it for free, but then. Hey, we all know there are people out there looking. I get phone calls all the time, or inbox like, "Do you know somebody who's looking for, or who needs do you know any musicians that we can have for our church? Because a lot of churches don't have musicians. Trust me, there are plenty of churches that are looking for musicians, and so
Yeah.
it would behoove pastors, man. I mean, to really, to those that are homegrown, really. Pour into them and then, really honor them as they grow in their gift and character, right? So I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that's real important. And that's what Elder Jazzy said. It's so true. Because we see a lot of disparity between, and I think a lot of musicians count the pastor's money or the church's money, what they think.
You can't count the man money. That ain't your money.
And that's what
you can't. That's just like if you on tour. You can't count the artist money. That ain't your money.
Right.
They didn't pay. Nobody paid a ticket to come hear you play. They paid a ticket to hear them sing. Watch this. Nobody asked for you to come. Nobody paid to hear you play. They come to hear the preacher preach. The preacher decided to bring you on the road to help him. But nobody asked you to come. They asked the preacher to come.
Uh-huh.
The preacher said, "Hey, I need my musician to come with me." But the ministry never asked for the musician; they asked for the preacher.
Absolutely.
So already off top, you in the wrong when you talking about, well, he making this much money. It don't matter how much money he making.
Well,
What did you agree on? What did you have a conversation to say, hey, Bishop, if you can do this each night, I'm good. It don't matter if you get, five a night, 10,000 a night. If I said I'm good with this certain amount, then I'm good with that. If
yeah.
you want to give me more, just out of the goodness of your heart, as they paid you a little bit more, then that's fine. But no, give me what we agreed on, and I'm good. These guys get out here and they get greedy, and then you get a bus ticket home.
Yeah. And you said something so important, whatever is agreed upon, just do it. And as a pastor, I've had to learn whatever my cap is, that's my cap.
Yeah.
She
And
cap.
it's either you take it or leave it.
Right.
And don't feel bad. I'm talking to pastors, right? Don't feel bad if you can't do what the next pastor can do. You just can't do it,
And do
right?
it.
But your honesty and being transparent is so important. And then you said something, John, I thought was key is when I talked about paying musicians more than the rent. I could probably count on my hand how many times I've been given something from the church because I'm not on salary, but
Mm,
those musicians get paid.
yeah, yeah.
And there are a lot of churches and pastors that do. The pastor doesn't take anything, but to have a sound, right? To create that moment, that experience, we got to have music.
Man, it goes so deep. If I had time, we would go deep into it, but we don't have time tonight. It's so much subliminally projected into the culture of our minds. Prime example, there are only two people that you see on anybody's flyer: the guest preacher and the guest artist. Nobody else matters.
Ah,
I'll wait. Nobody else matters on the flyer.
That's true.
You ain't see nobody else. It's on any flyer. Go pick any flyer. I don't care who the preacher. It's either who's the guest speakers or who's the guest artist. Those are two drawing factors.
John, you never been on a flyer, man. You never been on a flyer. I can't believe it.
But check this. But check this though. But even with that, here's the crazy part. We will pay an artist more to perform less time than we'll
Ooh.
pay a preacher who's going to be up longer.
Ooh.
So
Jesus.
we got Bishop Amir May is coming to be the guest speaker tonight for our men's conference. I hope I ain't about to get in trouble with this, but I can stand my own. Uh, he gonna be the guest preacher at our men's conference. Okay, great. We got Kirk Franklin is the guest artist. Gonna do special selection music before he get up. Kirk Franklin got a 15-minute set, and y'all paid him $30,000. But y'all won't cut Bishop Amir May 10,000 for preaching for an hour.
Yep. Yep.
Make it make sense.
It won't. It will never make sense.
It don't make sense, man. But they want see that's the kind of stuff people get mad about, man. But I'm just like, come on, man.
Absolutely facts.
Yeah, that's perspective right there. I haven't even thought about that till you dropped that. Like, wow, that is
Think,
crazy.
think about it, man.
Yeah.
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 Perspective.
And I've seen John. I've seen Jason turn down ministries because the pride in the ministry, and I've seen John turn out churches and not play for people. And then I seen top people in gospel said, "John, we need you tomorrow. That's the set." And he would learn the whole. He would learn the
Man, let
whole
me tell you
set.
something. I
The
I I,
whole
I
set.
was I ain't even gonna say it, but I was at his house.
Right.
I was sitting on his I don't know, we eat crab legs. I don't know what we was eating. I was at
Crab
his
leg.
house. Him and his wife, Lady Kenya, she was on the other side. John P. Key called me while I was at his house on his couch and said, "Hey, I need you to show to me tomorrow."
Whoa.
He ain't gonna lie, he was right there. I had him on speaker.
Yeah.
I was at
The
his house.
whole set.
Had a whole set by tomorrow.
Mhm.
I said, man, please.
But that speaks to your resume, right? That speaks to your credibility. and your reputation precedes you, right?
Yep.
How many musicians can get a call like that and be trusted that when I call you and I give you the directive, you're gonna follow through and won't have excuses?
Well, yeah. Well, that's because you have to build your history of not only your skill, but your professionalism. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
guys got the skill, but they have no professionalism about themselves at all.
Listen.
None. None. So I can't trust you to be on the road because you're not a professional. I can't trust you to come even do the show because you're not a professional. You don't understand time. You don't
Nope.
understand lobby call is 5 in the morning. If we say that bus is pulling off at 6, we don't mean 6:30. We looking for you. You don't miss the flight because you overslept. Ain't nobody got time to babysit. This you grown. Wake up. I missed the flight. Well, you just missed the show. Well, you're fired. If we say, watch this. Now here's another topic. We know a lot of musicians talk about the attire and how they looking. Well, why I can't wear my hat to look like this and other? Well, for certain artists, there's a wardrobe that you have to have.
Mm.
Certain shows, certain levels, they provide a wardrobe. They tell you that you're gonna put this on if you're gonna be on this stage.
Cool.
And so you ain't gonna be complaining about it then. You're gonna put it on. You want to play for the Canton Spirituals, you're gonna put on the same suit everybody else got on stage.
Oh
Right.
man.
Y'all don't
Uh,
want y'all don't want me to get started.
Ah!
not the
Nah,
camp.
man. I'm just saying, man. It's these guys. They don't. It's a professionalism about it that skill takes you so far. But I know guys who have less skill, but are very professional, and they're on major gigs because they understand the professionalism of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even in churches, there's churches who will settle for a minister of music or a music director that is maybe not as skilled as these younger boys, but
So true.
they've been there 25 years as the music director, Mr. Music. Why? Because they're professional. They know how to run that thing. Ain't gonna be no drama.
So true.
You done brought these young boys in here. They done flipped the church in 2 Sundays. No. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So true. I can testify about that. I'd rather deal with a B or C level musician with professionalism than an A musician that won't show up on time. I gotta advance you your money before you come to the
Who do
service.
that? Who do
Oh,
that? Why?
it happens here in Florida. It
They
happens
want you
here
to
in Florida.
advance some money.
It happens here in Florida.
What?
Mhm.
What?
I don't have enough gas money. Can you give it to me before I get there so I can make it? Oh
See,
yeah.
this is my complaint. Why they don't have a job? This is what I'm talking about.
That
I ain't got
part.
no gas. I ain't got no
No,
gas
no
money.
that's your integrity. That's your manhood.
I ain't got no gas money.
You ask nobody with no gas money. Who asked for
Let me
that?
tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. See,
Yeah.
this is why I don't need to be on these conversations. This is the dumb, stupid stuff to me.
That's
You ain't
right.
got no gas money. First of all, you know how many people die every day? So here's what I'm saying. Go to your local funeral home. Say, hey man, I know y'all got 3, 4 funerals a week. I'll play
Yeah.
for, funeral for $100. You can make $300 or $400 extra during the week playing for funeral services in the chapel. Ask me
Yeah.
how I know.
Yeah.
Then that. That's your gas money right there. That's your lunch money right there. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you laugh. And those are the simple things. Just maybe 2 months ago, we had a service and had some musicians, and I wrote a check.
Hmm.
That's what we did. Wrote the check. I get a call from one of the musicians and said, "Hey, I can't cash the check." Well, what do you mean you can't cash the check? My bank won't accept it. Why not? Because my name wasn't on it. They won't receive it. I said, well, we left the line blank so that you can put your own name on it. My point that I'm trying to make is this gentleman didn't even have the foresight, the foreknowledge to write his own name on paid to the order of. That's a problem.
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's the dumb stuff. You how in the world,
Yeah.
man? But here's the
Clearly.
thing. But here's the thing. At least he was going to the bank. A lot of guys don't even have a bank account.
Well, yeah.
A
That
lot
is
of
true.
black boys don't have no bank account. They got what's the thing? They got chime.
Yep.
Hey man, you chime me? What? Chime. Get out of
Yes.
here.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Apple Pay.
Apple.
You know,
Zelle.
cash
Yeah.
out me. Cash out. I'm like, man, go get you an account, open you up a checking account. Open.
So speaking of, is as musician or pastor, I don't know, whoever wants to answer, is the standard means of payment, is a check the standard means of payment, or are we are in an electronic day?
Yeah,
So
I mean, people have most of the time it's more convenient to do electronic payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I even know preachers and artists to be like, check, man, just Zelle me, or do what you gonna do, just instant
yeah.
money.
I love
Um, but they that Zelle need to be linked to a bank account.
it.
I mean, come on, bro. What we Zelling to?
Ah,
Mm-mm.
well, yeah.
I
Zelle-
just think it goes for preachers and musicians. I think a lot of people look at it as a gig or a money opportunity. Even just
Right.
guys that's most preachers that have was worth they salt. They're not on social media every day prophesying. I mean, that's a hustle. You on that every day?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
you trying to get that money?
you need a job. You need some income. You just trying to get that money. And even John, they can play somewhere every night, but sometimes you got to safeguard yourself. Spend time with people. It's just, I don't know. It's just a dangerous situation, and the conversation. You can, as far as your question about payment, you can do Zelle. You can do, whatever you feel necessary. But Zelle is good, and
Yeah.
PayPal,
Mhm.
whatever you feel necessary. That it's electronic, and you keep your records. You keep your records. But a musician making $500 at the base, average church, that's pretty good money to me. Because
That's decent. Yeah.
where you going to make that money in the corporate world for 2 hours?
Nowhere.
They ain't no John B or no Jason.
I'm telling you.
To play for Amere May, you're gonna have to play strings. You're gonna have to play theory. You're gonna have to play a hymn probably. You're gonna have to drive. No, they know they're gonna have to drive me. They're gonna go back to prophetic. Then we're gonna climb the ladder a little bit. Then John just go get happy. Then it's gonna be crazy. Then Jason goes up. Jason go get them strings. I'm gonna say heaven and Lucifer.
That part.
And then these young musicians be lost. I'm like, that's why we can't
lost,
y'all
man.
lost.
Right.
They lost.
Gone.
They can't
Yeah.
find it. You ain't got time to transpose me. You got to
Wow.
He done modulated 4 times. You still mashing buttons.
Oh yeah.
Plus
So
5, plus minus 3. What you doing?
Right.
Oh man.
Don't mention I'm arguing the text for 30 minutes, man. It's just that's why I just don't say y'all make it look easy. I praise God for you guys, man, because y'all make it look easy, and y'all not hirelings. Y'all real covenant brothers, man. Y'all don't tax. I mean, you ain't gonna get everybody the love you show me, but because you earned it. You earned it, and it's not like just fly by nights. You all earned it. Them 6 a.m. flights. I mean, John be calling, hey, Bishop. Man, let's cancel our flight tomorrow.
Hey, look.
Too early.
Look. I'm still waiting right now to see what's going on this
Oh
week.
yeah, I got a car. Right.
I don't know what's happening.
Maybe y'all just need to do a seminar or a conference or something, man.
Mhm.
These pastors be encouraged because these musicians will hijack your whole church if you allow them to. You just gotta trust God. Y'all need to do a class, man, or a seminar or something, man. It was good talking to y'all tonight.
Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I think, and I won't hold you too long, but I think that mentoring piece is really important, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I think guys like yourself, John, we can get engaged with some of the younger guys, and man, and really start teaching them like the basics, really first. You know, like how is it? You know, like get you a bank account first. Let's start there. You know,
Yeah.
and then move into, man, you know, how to flow with different. You know, like I know I've ministered with Bishop May, man, and it's you gotta be a jack of all trades for sure. You gotta know how to you gotta know how to pull out the string. You gotta know how to pull it, drive them. You know, man, stick and move. You know, it's so much going on, but.
Hey,
You know,
then y'all have to make up for me when I just say something so bold and crazy. You be like, did he just say that? You have to do something.
Yeah.
Right. Go back to my stage play moment. Like, did you just say that? You got to create the moment. Right?
But no, you said something. You said something because now musicians won't even, YouTube, like YouTube the church you're going to play for.
Exactly.
Learn the past, learn the church, find out what the sound is, because every church doesn't have the same sound. They're not doing that.
They don't.
They're not doing that.
No.
That's so
And then
powerful.
bring more to the table than just your skill to play. Yeah, you can
Man,
play. I can
Because you pray
find
for Prophet Moses, you might do 5 hymns before he even opens
you and them ain't gonna be the hymns in the front. Them could be the
real
hymns in the
hymns.
back of the book.
Real hymns. I
In
mean,
the back,
hymns, I'm like, what?
what is that? You got to be able to do more than play. You need to know can you administrate?
Right.
Can you do security? Can you be an armor bearer?
Right.
You know, how can you do logistics for travel? You know what I'm saying? If we out, we say, hey, we need to rebook a flight. If May say, hey John, look up some other flights before we can go right quick. Can you look up flights for us? Can you find, we got to rebook this right
The
quick.
guy that played for Overseer can't look at the flight because he don't even know how to sign his name.
There you go. There you go.
Nah.
You laughing, Bishop, but it happened. Real life.
I didn't heard it all. That is the
real life.
That's crazy.
Oh, that is
That's
hilarious.
sad. Matter of fact, like prime example, last church, where were we at? We was up in Kalamazoo. Where was we at? Where did we go? Me and you. I fixed that Leslie.
Grand Rapids.
We was in Grand Rapids. I'm playing on the organ. Bishop up preaching. I'm on the organ. I already knew from listening what was wrong. The top Leslie horn wasn't spinning. The bottom rotor was spinning.
Man,
So I didn't have to. I at the church, I fixed the man's Leslie with a rubber band.
Wow.
Because watch this, the horn, nothing was wrong with the motor or the horn. It was the band had popped.
And he had a full suit on.
I said, I said, hey, y'all got a shoestring? They said, we ain't got a shoe. I said, go get me a rubber band. I fixed this whole lid. I said, flip it. Now I started turning. I said, I just saved you $400 with a rubber band.
Yeah.
Because a joker would have came up in there and charged more than that.
Yes.
To fix it. Guarantee you.
Yes.
Guarantee you. Man. But to one point though, that YouTube watch was huge right there. What you just said, Pastor. Like when they call me, if I've never been to their church before, and they say, "Can you come by?" I'm on YouTube, or I'm on their Facebook page, trying to see if I can get some videos and see what the flavor is like, what's really happening. So that's really huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that is huge. That is huge. Well, man, we're going to have to continue this conversation, but I thank God for you guys taking up the time. And, it was a blessing. You all, John, Jason, Pastor, tell them you're in Florida. You need to check Pastor Church out. Tell them where your church at, Pastor.
Yes, sir. It's called Word Empowerment Kingdom Center. We're in Port Charlotte, Florida, just between Sarasota and Fort Myers, southwest side.
Amen. All right, John, Jason, love you guys, man. And I'll be in call you if I go to bed.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, man. Take care. All right now.